What's going on, everybody? Traders, welcome to course 5 of 11 summer school. I am so excited. We are in course 5 already, and very soon we're going to get to 11. And in this summer school, we are going to learn Heikin Ashi, Elliott wave theory, harmonic price chart, and all these are technical analysis tools that will make our trading become from a novice trader to a more better professional and skillful trader. So, for in the outline, we are going to discuss the Heikin Ashi, and in Heikin Ashi, we are going to learn what Heikin Ashi is, the Heikin Ashi candlestick chart versus the traditional Japanese candlestick chart. We're also going to learn how to calculate the Heikin Ashi and how to use a Heikin Ashi chart and how to trade using the Heikin Ashi. And we are going to learn about the limitations of the Heikin Ashi and how to use the Heikin Ashi sheet. So here we are inside of summer school, course 5 of 11 and course outline 1, Heikin Ashi, and let us discuss what the Heikin Ashi means. So the Heikin Ashi is basically another type of chart pattern. Already we know the line chart pattern, the bar chart pattern, and the candlestick chart pattern. Just for a quick review, here we have the live chart pattern, the line chart, candlestick, and the bar chart pattern. Okay, however, we are going to learn about the Heikin Ashi chart pattern. Hey, let me ask you, do you like Heineken? Do you? It's a very nice beer. So if you're struggling on how to pronounce Heikin Ashi, just say Heikin Ashi. Well, I think that's funny. So I mean, you can pronounce it like Heikin Ashi or Heikin Ashi, or just say Heikin Ashi. I mean, I don't care. Oh, it's all the same thing. Okay, the Heikin Ashi, which is also known as Heikin Ashi, like I say, is similar to the Japanese candlestick chart pattern, okay, but the difference is the method used in how candlesticks are calculated and plotted on the charts. So like the Japanese candlesticks are great to help you find entry points because they give us like patterns like the shooting star, the bullish marubozu, and all that. Okay, so the Heikin Ashi is a more advanced level of the candlestick chart, okay, so that those who are trading trend, like trend traders, okay, can basically just decide, okay, the trend is going up or it's going down, or it's weak or it's strong. Okay, so the Heikin Ashi charting technique rearranges how the price is displayed so that trend traders can have a higher confidence level when deciding whether to remain in a trade or to exit. So what is a Heikin Ashi? Basically, the word Heikin means average, okay, and Ashi means pace. So put together, Heikin Ashi means the average pace of price. Okay, so the Heikin Ashi is a type of candlestick charting technique used to help filter market noise. So it combines all the noise together and make it a candlestick. Okay, and it was developed years ago by a Japanese rice merchant from Sakata, Japan, and his name is Munhisa Homa. Okay, so this is the Heikin Ashi chart. Okay, this is how it looks like. It is beautiful. I absolutely think this is very, very beautiful. See how all the candles are arranged together to the top, here coming down, here going up, here coming down. Okay, so we want to learn a great deal into this Heikin Ashi, and we can also see that they have similarities with the traditional Japanese candlestick pattern. Like they have wicks to the top or shadows to the top and to the bottom as well. Okay, and I think they are wicks. They are actually huge, okay, to the top, and I think this is beautiful. So let's now go and learn the difference between the Heikin Ashi chart versus the traditional Japanese candlestick chart. So to do this, let us look at the pictorial description of a traditional Japanese candlestick chart and that of the Heikin Ashi, or forgive me for saying Heikin Ashi. Alright, my friends, you definitely know that this is a Japanese candlestick chart, okay? And you can see we have two color candles here, green and magenta, okay? And see how the price of the market is moving up and down. And if you take a good look, okay, even though the market is trending to the downside, right, you see green candles in between the red candles or the magenta color candles, right, to the downside, okay? And at this point here, when the price of the market was turning bullish, we still see the green bullish candles and we see the red candles in between of them, right? So what does it tell us? That at some point the bears were in the market and they stepped in to, you know, do whatever it is they wanted to do. Okay, so this is to the top side, we see green. This is to the downside, we see green here. Okay, to the top side again, we see red. To the downside. So this is basically how the traditional Japanese candlestick chart looks like. Now what about the Heikin Ashi? Let's look. So for the Heikin Ashi, you see when it's going down, I mean it is the same pair. Okay, let's just go back a bit, just a little bit. This is GBP JPY GJ, okay, one day time frame, the daily time frame rather. And here is the same chart GJ GBP JPY, okay, the daily candlestick chart as well. Okay, so ain't nothing different about it, the chart. But take a look very well. You see as the price is trending down here, okay, all the candles are red, nothing mixed in between. When price tries to go up, all the candles are green, again red. However, here there's a great indecision in the market, okay, where the direction should go. So we have, even though it's in a downtrend, okay, we still have the candles mixed in between, okay, because price was trapped in this range right here. However, when price broke below, you see red, price was trapped around here again. We now see indecision coming to the market. Then we see green and red mixed. Here when price traveled down, we see red. And for the majority, when price finally broke out of this level, what do we see? Huge reds, huge green, mini green and red. Here, huge green, huge red, huge green to the top side. This is how the Heikin Ashi works. It removes all of the noise we see in here. So you see all this noise, green, red, green, red, green, red. We really can't tell. I mean, you can tell right now this is a downtrend, okay? This is also a downtrend. And here, double bottom support, uptrend, uptrend, okay? So this is how the Heikin Ashi and the Japanese candlestick chart looks different. Let's take a look side by side. Here by your left, traditional Japanese candlestick, by the right, the Heikin Ashi candlestick chart. Which one is more pretty? Take a look. Which is more pretty? Do you say this or do you say this? Well, I think both are cute. We are mostly used to this one here, okay, but now we are learning about this one. So let's continue in our studies further and see what more information we can get, right? Okay, now what is this picture telling us? They're telling us, Babypips is saying Heikin Ashi, I mean the traditional Japanese candlestick can change colors, right? Even though it's in a downtrend, as much as Kylie Jenner, this lady, can change color of her hair whenever she wants, okay? So you see all these hair colors. That's how the traditional Japanese candlestick chart changes colors as well, okay? And yeah, we agree. So here we are, a further comparison between the Japanese candlestick chart and the Heikin Ashi candlestick chart. And we have been told that many forex trend traders, they prefer to use the Heikin Ashi because it reduces the noise on the chart and it allows them to analyze trends more clearly. Now another thing you're going to notice is that the Heikin Ashi candles, right, they start exactly, they open from the middle, okay, even though they have a wick to the top, but they open at the middle of each previous candles, okay. That's how they open. Why do they open at the middle of each previous candle close? Is because of how they are calculated. So we are also going to learn how to calculate the Heikin Ashi, so that when we talk to our charts, when we read our charts, we read our charts professionally. Okay, so how to calculate the Heikin Ashi. So to calculate the Heikin Ashi, okay, candlestick chart, we need to know that there are technicalities involved. Of course, to somebody who is very new, he might think, oh, the Heikin Ashi is just the same as the traditional Japanese candlestick chart. Okay, but it's very, very different. Look at this dog here. You would think this is a very pretty dog, right? Okay, you can take it for every other dog, but no, this is a wolf. Okay, so before you want to go hug this dog, just know, even though it looks like your natural dog or your normal dog of every day you see, this one is quite different. Okay, it looks so natural, like a dog. Actually, take a look. It really does look natural, like your normal everyday dog. More pretty and cute and innocent and all that. But if this is a wolf and you get close to it, it's going to tear you down. Okay, and once your blood spills on the floor, before you know, you're surrounded by a pack of wolves. Okay, and you presented yourself to them as a very great buffet, for them. So you have to be very, very prepared and be very, very careful, and to know the technicalities involved in using a Heikin Ashi candlestick chart. If you do not know the technicalities involved, my friend, just as a man who is trying to save his life from a pack of wolves, you might be bleeding, and also your account. I mean, you might end up bleeding your account. That's what I'm trying to say. So why the traditional candlestick chart looks like this? Okay, it opens, it has a high, it has a low, they open and close, either bullish or bearish candles candles. The Heikin Ashi candlestick chart, each candlestick doesn't open, including the price movement of just like this. The Heikin Ashi, right, it opens with price of past current price action. I don't know if you understand what I just said. The current action of the price at the moment isn't what is given to you. Okay, it includes the closing price of previous current price action as well. So it is not just on its own that it is working with. So if some candles had closed area earlier on, the Heikin Ashi will begin using the data of the previous candle and end it with the current end of the trading action. I don't know if you understand what I mean. It's like, oh God, what is he talking about? But it is what it is. Say this is a traditional candlestick chart, candlestick, okay, Japanese candlestick. Okay, this is how it opens. A Heikin Ashi doesn't work like this. For a Heikin Ashi to open, it will not open with a wick. Look at the chart very well. It will never open. It hardly opens with a wick, but it opens like this and closes like this. Why? Because it takes this data here, this data, combine all of them together and begin with it to start its new candle. And then once it has begun and it's pushing to the downside, okay, if it trades to this low, okay, fine, that's that. But if price doesn't close here, it might come up and close around these levels right here. Okay, so I don't know if I just drew this correctly. So this is how it will close, but this data here, which is the low, will stay. Okay, so that's a Heikin Ashi for you. That's what I'm trying to explain. So as we have just discussed, the traditional Japanese candlestick, they are similar to the Heikin Ashi, just that the open and close are calculated differently. Okay, so this means that the four parts of the Heikin Ashi formula, they are incorporated differently and calculated differently. So how do we calculate it? Let's take a look at the open. For for the open of the Heikin Ashi, it is the combination of, or the sum of the open price of the previous candle and the closing price of the previous candle, and you divide it by 2. That will give you the open of the Heikin Ashi. And then for the close of the Heikin Ashi, it is the addition of the open and high and low and close divided by 4. That will give you the close of the Heikin Ashi. And then the maximum high is the maximum price reached, right, which is all, yeah, and then the low is the minimum price reached. And when this is done, what we have is a beautiful price action movement. Okay, so this is our traditional Japanese candle, and this is our Heikin Ashi. You see how price is smoothed out. Okay, why? Because the noise has been removed. And what is the noise? High, low, and what have you. So here's a summary. Heikin Ashi formula: the maximum of high and the open or the close, whichever is highest, that gives you the high of the candle. And then the low is the minimum of low, the open or close, whichever is lowest. And then the open is the previous bar plus the close of the previous bar divided by 2. And then the close is the open plus high plus low and plus close divided by 4. So now that we have known how to calculate the Heikin Ashi chart, okay, candlestick chart, how do we use the Heikin Ashi chart? So since we now know that we can use the Heikin Ashi chart pattern to clear out noise, okay, from the trade, filter market noise, and we now have a clear market chart with us, we can now, learn to see the chart differently. Okay, so how do we, understand the chart right now? Let's look at this. When there is a strong push to the downside, to know it's a very strong downtrend, okay, you will notice that the top of the candles, they have no wicks to the top side. Look at all the candles carefully. You will notice that there are no wicks. Okay, no wicks. And what does it tell us? That we are in a very strong push or a downward trend. Okay, and if you look this other way around, if you look at the bottom of the candles here, you will see no wicks. And what does it tell us? We are in a very strong trending market, uptrending market. Okay, and this one is a very strong bearish market. Okay, so that's the beauty of the Heikin Ashi Japanese candlestick chart. Okay, so it basically helps us to identify trend direction and trend strength in a more very quick way. Okay, so how can we use the Heikin Ashi to identify the trend direction? I mean, it's simple. It's basically what we have just said. It's very simple. Look at this chart here. We can easily identify the direction, okay, because we do not have the first candle here. We don't have wicks to the top, no wicks to the top, and we see all the candles pushing to the downside, red. Okay, does it really matter the color? No, not really, because you can use any color of your choice. On the other way around, when the candles are pushing to the top side, and if you look very well, you see no wicks to the bottom. That shows that we are in a very strong uptrend. Okay, so that is how you use the Heikin Ashi to identify trend direction. How to use the Heikin Ashi to identify trend strength? Now for the strength, is basically what we have just said as well. It's very similar. Okay, we see all the price of the candles pushing to the downside and no wicks to the top. Okay, for trend direction, we would have said the colors are aligned together. Okay, there are no mixed colors inside of it, like you see green and you see red inside of this direction, no, it is absent. However, in a ranging market, you will find green and red because there's no directional bias. Okay, so you will find the colors mixed. So but in a trending market, you will not see the colors mixed. It will just be one color. Why? Because that noise of adding of the noise of bulls taking or bears coming into play has been filtered out. And for the trends, that is where we also have talked about the wicks, but it's also good. I think we get the point. There will be no wicks or shadows to the top for a downtrend, and for an uptrend there will be no wicks or shadows to the bottom in an uptrend. I hope you get that. That's really simple. There is nothing more to say about that. And when the candles appear like this, they have names. Okay, so this one is bullish. Okay, so it's called shift bottom. Why is it called shift bottom? Because there is no wick to the top, to the bottom of it. And what does that signify? Very strong push to the top side. And now for this candle here that has wick to the bottom and no wick to the top, this one is called a shift head. This one is called shift bottom. Okay, this one is signaling a strong trend to the downside. So if you find a shift head or a shift bottom, know what trend direction that you're running. I mean, it's quite simple. So yeah, that's all to the Heikin Ashi, how to use it to identify trend. Now let's move to how to trade using the Heikin Ashi. We already know that using a Heikin Ashi chart makes trends easy to identify. Okay, so the Heikin Ashi allows traders to look for the emergence of a new trend or the reversal of an existing trend. So take a look at the pictures here. The green candles as used here indicates a very strong push to the top side, while the red candles indicate a strong push to the downside. And here again we have a strong push to the top side. Okay, and when the candles push to this level here, okay, and the following candle changed from red to green, that's a very strong signal that the market is about to change direction to the top side. And yes, you can begin to exit your trades because the direction of the market has changed. Okay, and when there is no wick to the top or bottom of a particular candle in a successive range, okay, just know we are either in a very strong bullish phase of the market or a very strong bearish phase of the market. That is what we are seeing here. No wicks to the bottom, no wicks to the bottom. Here, no wicks to the bottom, no wicks to the bottom. Okay, so this tells us that what we are in a very strong uptrend market, and you can let your trade ride. Now it doesn't really, it has nothing to do about the colors, okay, because you can use whatever colors you want in your chart. For me, I like using the black, so you see I like using black and gray. Okay, so it really doesn't matter about the color you use. What matters is understanding the candles and the direction of the candles. Okay, and you also have to be wary when price is consolidating. Okay, so once price has moved very long to this side and it starts consolidating, and you see all of this, one candle, two candles, not moving, this means the market is pausing. And what do you want to do by this time? You want to try and close your trades, okay, until you see a clear directional bias while using the Heikin Ashi. Take a look again. Okay, here, push to the top side. Okay, see, market not pushing, not pushing. This is what's signaling a pause in the market. So that this candle is here and it is red, that doesn't mean direction has changed. We have to wait for a very huge marubozu Heikin Ashi candlestick, okay, before we know our directional bias has changed. So keep all this in mind. Okay, we've talked about this for a downward trend. Okay, after a very strong push to the top side, and we'll see a candle like this. Okay, and once this second candle comes like this, just know, yeah, this is your signal. Okay, and this is the confirmation of that entry for you, and so you want to trade accordingly. Okay, Now the red candlesticks with no upper trend or weak shadow signals a downtrend. I think we have just mentioned this. And what do they say here? The red candlestick signal a downtrend, okay, and the red candlestick with no upper shadow or wick indicate a strong downtrend. Okay, with the red candles to the color to the downside, strong trend to the downside, I mean the trend to the downside. But when there is absence of, you know, a shaved head, just know that the trend to the downside is very, very powerful. So traders, previously you might be seeing the Heikin Ashi, you know, moving in a very good way, displaying prices in a very clean format, and you might be thinking, well, this is the best for me to use for my trading. Okay, unfortunately the Heikin Ashi is not the holy grail. Okay, why? Because the Heikin Ashi have weaknesses or limitations. The Heikin Ashi does not show true price of the market. Why? Because of how it is calculated. They do not show the exact open and close of the prices at a particular time. So here's a Heikin Ashi sharp pattern, right? And here in this candle here, right, this is the daily time frame. The open and the close is 1.09005 and 1.08531. So a few things to consider or to notice. The candle is red, which means the candle closed lower than its open. Excuse me. Its open price was 1.0905 and its close price was 1.08531. Now for the traditional Japanese candlestick chart, the price of the candle and the close, let's discuss. Just watch. I mean, take a look. The candle is green compared to here, candle is red. Okay, now it means the candle closed higher than its open. Now it is also very clear that the pair EU, you know, closed bullish for the day compared to Heikin Ashi, it closed bearish. Okay, now the open of this price was 1.08373 and the closing price was 1.08706. So here's a review for the Heikin Ashi and the Japanese candlestick chart. Okay, the last candlestick was red for Heikin Ashi. For Japanese, is traditional Japanese candlestick is green. The open price was this and the open price for the other is this, and here it is, and this is the closing price for the traditional candlestick. So you'll notice the difference. Okay, you know it doesn't show the current price action. So since you can't see the actual price action, right, for the day, many traders prefer to use the Heikin Ashi chart as an indicator rather than a price chart itself. So the Heikin Ashi chart obscure the actual price information, which we have just seen from the examples we looked at. Yeah, another limitation is that the closing price is considered important for many traders, but actually the closing price is not displayed on a Heikin Ashi candlestick chart. Why? Because to get the calculated get the closing price, we have to calculate the close, which is the combination of the open price added to the high, added to the low, and added to the close, and then divided by 4. So that's how you have the closing price. Okay, and that's what the average. Okay, so not the actual closing price of the the trading for that day, right? So you have to be aware that these limitations are there. You don't have the actual closing price. What you have is just the average of everything. Okay, so be aware, and you also have to know that the charts may not be responsive enough or useful or very useful for day traders or scalpers. Why? Because it doesn't work instantly for you in your direction, right? It mostly works for those who trade longer. swing traders, okay, or position traders, okay. So because a Heikin Ashi requires price action from 2 periods, a trade setup also takes longer to develop, okay. And this is no problem for swing traders or long-term traders or position traders who have more time, you know, to let their trades ride and develop, okay. But it will be a big problem for day traders, okay. So that is the weaknesses and limitations attached to the Heikin Ashi. And now we are considering the end of this Heikin Ashi charts pattern, and we are looking at the Heikin Ashi sheets. Okay, so quickly we have come to see that the Heikin Ashi is a modified Japanese candlestick, okay, and we have also learned that Heikin Ashi filters market noise and provides a clearer visual representation of the trend, okay. For new traders, it makes easy for them to see the trend, okay, and the direction of the market makes it very easy. And also the Heikin Ashi is different from the traditional Japanese candlestick chart, and it takes because it takes the previous or the prior session open and close into account for the open, which removes any gaps between candlesticks or bars on the chart. So here is also how to calculate the Heikin Ashi candlestick. Okay, for open you have to add the previous day's open and close and divide it by 2. For the high of the current candle, that's the high of the current candle, okay. And then for the low of the current candle, that's the lowest point. And then for the close of the current candle, you have to add the open and high and low and close of the previous candles or the trading session, and then divide it by 4. So how to interpret a Heikin Ashi? Okay, when the candles are green with long bodies, it's an uptrend. When the candles are red with long bodies, it's a downtrend. Okay, when the small body is surrounded by upper and lower shadows, the trend is pausing or consolidating, okay, or directionless, okay. Then when the candlesticks with when green candles with no lower shadows, that's a very strong uptrend. And when there are red candles with no lower shadow, that's a very strong downtrend. Disadvantages: Heikin Ashi slows down the speed of the market, eliminating unnecessary false signals. I mean, that's the advantages of the Heikin Ashi, okay. And then for the disadvantages of the Heikin Ashi, now you can only use the Heikin Ashi pretty much as a, an indicator telling you the direction of the price, because an indicator that slows down can only be used for you to know where the direction of the market is, like an oscillator, okay, or sorry, like the MACD, the moving average convergence divergence, okay. It only comes up when the direction of the trend or has commenced. So my friends, if you use a Heikin Ashi as an indicator to know when the trend, if you are in a very strong trend or a weak trend, that is very good. But Heikin Ashi is not good for day traders. And how do you know if you are a day trader? Your account. And if you trade every day, if your account is pretty much between $100 to $103, you're very much good as a day trader. So to include the Heikin Ashi indicator on your MT4, go to Insert, Indicators, Custom Indicators, and then locate Heikin Ashi. Here it is, and you just change the candles. By default it is blue and white, so you can mean red and white, you can change it to red and green. Double click and then say green, and then hit on OK, and this is what appears on your chart. And this is quite different from what we have seen on the the Babypips website, okay, but I think you get the idea, okay. I think this is an improved version of how the Heikin Ashi actually now shows, or display is okay. So here it is, my friends. If you can use this, fine, but if you cannot, that's okay. And to delete it, just right click on the candle and say delete, and it becomes more clearer. So yeah, now you now know how to apply the Heikin Ashi indicator into your chart. So that's the end of the very first section of our course outline, the Heikin Ashi. So we are going to consider the next one, Elliott wave and harmonic price patterns. So my friends, if you enjoyed this video, if you like it, please share this content, smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and until next time, take care.